welcome back to another Battlefront update. As most of you know, we were expecting several new community transmissions to hit this week regarding some of the new stuff coming to the game in the Chosen One update, that which itself is arriving on the 27th. Now, which is usually the case of these community transmissions, we get them nice and early in the day. But today's transmission actually came out later than what was expected. A little surprising to be sure, but a welcome one as I have no problem with it. And that's mainly due to the fact that I'm actually able to be home to put out a video on a community transmission that has been released. But enough of the preamble, let's jump straight into the news in this Battlefront update. The community transmission that was dropped today is, as you can guess by the video title, focusing primarily on the much rather hyped new and improved Clone Legion customization. As stated by DICE in the transmission, the topic of Clone Trooper armor is one that they've seen a lot of feedback on across the last few months. And back in December of last year, they mentioned that they would be making some much needed changes to the Clone Trooper appearance system. And this mainly was a result due to the large fan outcry regarding the designs of the Clone Legion appearances we did get in the game not being canon and in some circumstances just plain wrong and looking absolutely nothing like they should. Given DICE's lax nature of not sticking 100% to the Star Wars canon in other areas of the game, which yeah, you'd be surprised to the amount of non-canon stuff that does appear in Battlefront 2, I'm sure they were incredibly surprised that fans actually cared this much and expected nothing but the best. So basically DICE had to go back to the drawing board and start working closely with Lucasfilm to this time fix all the previous Legion appearances, making them accurate and canon, and as well all the new ones that haven't even come out yet. But as we know, due to data mining, DICE had finished every single Clone Legion appearance and had them locked away in the game since November of 2017. And starting out the first headline of this transmission, yeah, you wanted it and you're gonna get it. Shinies will now become the default look for all Clone Troopers in the game. So no matter what map you'll be playing on, you'll be now seeing Shinies and not the Legion that had previously been the default look on that particular map. However, that's not to say that you won't be seeing those Legions anymore, and we'll touch a bit on that later. But for those who don't know, Shinies is Clone Trooper slang for troopers who are basically fresh recruits, meaning that they don't belong to any Legion, have nothing but all-white armor, which looks brand new without any scratches and battle damage. Previously, we were able to place the Shinies on the Kamino map, but for all the other prequel maps, we had to play with a different Legion that was the default for that map. Fortunately, that won't be the case anymore, and you'll now be able to place a Shiny right out of the gate. However, if you would still like to use the previous planet-specific default appearance, you'll still be able to do so as they'll now become free unlocks. And there's nothing to complain there, as who doesn't like free stuff? Another interesting feature that DICE will be rolling out of the clone customization is allowing players to specify which clone phase armor they want to main, and play with that phase armor in every game regardless of what planet they're on. So say for example that you like the look of the 501st Phase 1 armor over the Phase 2 design. Well, now you can just set the Phase 1 armor as your main default, and you'll be playing with just that in every game and never have to worry about whether you get a map which is exclusive to Phase 1 or Phase 2 armor. And this is an interesting choice by DICE, as essentially this means that we'll be now seeing both Phase 1 and Phase 2 clone armor all over the place in the same games. Which yeah, that will surely be kind of weird at the beginning as that of course isn't canon. But then again, neither are Cross-era heroes, and we're surviving just fine. Yeah, people didn't like the idea before release, but now they've grown accustomed to it, and most even prefer it over era-locked heroes. So it's possible this may be the case for this too, who knows. DICE have also put out a full list of all the Legions that will now be available in the game after the Chosen One update on the 27th. Which is a total of 11 different optional appearances, and even more when you get into the nitty-gritty of the design changes between the Phase 1 and Phase 2 armors. As I've been saying this a lot in the past few weeks, Clone Trooper fans will absolutely love this update given how much flexibility and options they'll have in terms of customization alone, which surely will make any original and sequel trilogy fans jealous. And while DICE didn't make a mention of it for whatever reason, it should be noted that the Clone Scout Troopers from Revenge of the Sith on Kashyyyk have been confirmed as a new addition to the game. So for anyone serious about getting the proper clone look for when they play on Kashyyyk, this is a definite must. As of right now, we don't know if this will be restricted for only one class, in the 41st Ranger Platoon, but if anything, I can possibly see Specialists getting this exclusive appearance. Now, what I find most interesting is that the newly updated appearances will actually kind of be optional. And this is due to the way DICE is implementing a system that will exchange the old appearances for the new. What will happen is that if you already own one or more legions, you'll actually receive an updated version of that legion through an in-game crate. And then the game will expect you to head over to the loot crate menu once the update is live, and select that specific legion crate, which will then replace your old legion appearances with the new. But hypothetically speaking, if you're a fan of the old inaccurate legion designs, then you can just avoid clicking these crates and still keep the old appearances for yourself. Now, I don't know why anyone would do that, but I do find it interesting that DICE would even give us an option here. They could have just easily had this made to be a forced appearance update for all, but they didn't do that. As for Armored Officers, yes, they are coming along with this update as expected, which they will be replacing the naval uniform as the officer default. However, as I mentioned in my previous videos on this topic, if you still prefer the old look, then the naval uniform will still be available as an optional appearance, as it will remain as a free unlock for anyone wishing to use it. In regards to appearance costs, I said before that players wishing to get the Armored Officer appearance for the legions they previously unlocked before will not be getting them for free. Rather, they'll still need to either purchase them separately or buy the newly updated bundles. The Legion bundles will now be costing a whopping 60,000 credits or 1,500 crystals. Phase 2 Trooper appearances will now be classified as rare, and will cost 20,000 credits each or 500 crystals, while Phase 1 variants will be common, and priced at 5,000 credits each, or 150 crystals. But the good news is that despite all of this, DICE will be issuing a free starter kit of Clone Trooper appearances. This starter kit will contain both Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the 41st Ranger Platoon Legion, plus all 4 Phase 1 appearances for the 91st, 104th, 212th, and 327th Legion, along with 60,000 credits all for free. And a reminder once again, the Chosen One update is coming out on Wednesday the 27th, and it's coming of 2 new legions, being the 501st and the Coruscant Guard, which were originally supposed to come out in January, but have been delayed to come out of this clone customization patch. Now in other news, we actually got some pretty cool information the other day from Jay Ingram that DICE are playtesting Heroes vs Villains with Blast Mechanics, which is basically the much requested Hero Blast mode. Now before we all get too excited, he did admit that it still surfaced a number of balancing issues. However, that doesn't mean that this will stop the mode from ever coming out. Rather, DICE will just need to address these issues before they release anything. And funny enough, one of those issues during the playtesting was actually Anakin Skywalker, with him apparently being far too powerful as the issue. So as a result of that, it looks like DICE are still doing some last minute tweaks and nerfs to Anakin, in order to make him a bit more balanced before releasing. And I have to admit, while I did love the idea of Anakin being the strongest hero in the game, I'd much rather see him get nerfed a bit if it means we get a Hero Blast mode in the next few months, as I'm sure most people will agree with me that the flaws in Heroes vs Villains, such as the targeting system, really kind of ruins the fun in the mode, especially with the amount of people that take advantage of it with all sorts of exploits. Besides, that's not to say that Anakin still won't be an absolute beast of a hero, especially from everything we've heard about him so far, then I'm pretty sure he will. And before we wrap up this video, a few things to quickly point out. For all you Kylo Ren fans, this will be very good news, as Ben Walk over on Twitter recently confirmed that Kylo Ren will be receiving some tweaks in the new update, including a small buff, such as getting a good damage increase. And come on, I'm sure as all Kylo Ren players will agree on this buff is pretty overdue. And considering how strong Anakin will be for the light side, it looks like the dark side will get that balancing in Kylo Ren. And last but not least, DICE are looking into doing a bonus XP event for the Starfighter modes in March. Granted, it's not new Starfighter content, I know, but it's at least something Starfighter related. And considering how much people have been asking for something new to come to this mode, then this will be a disappointment. But on the flip side, XP events are always welcome, no matter what the mode. And on the bright side, it seems that DICE haven't completely forgotten about this mode. Again, as I mentioned in a previous video, don't get your hopes up for anything new coming to Starfighter Assault, At least not until Criterion finished the Battle Royale mode in Battlefield 5. And then maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to come back to Battlefront 2 and work in getting us some Episode 9 Starfighter content. But that'll do it for this Battlefront update. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars related content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.